Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así.
Thank you, God, for this day. We have lived everything in our life, our health, our family, the guidance you have given us, allow us guidance to the path of righteousness. Amen.
Really, I'ma get that bitch. Revenge is a dish best served cold. She took my son, now my soul is cold. He took my daddy, now my soul is old.
Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub?
King Chaka ENT. Y'all can check out the music on Spotify, Apple, and other services. Doing what we do 3 to 4 nights a week. King Chaka ENT. From the
She
back
starts
seat.
shooting.
Ow!
That dude was like, ow.
What was that?
Outside the car,
That nigga
deputies'
got
body
popped.
cameras capturing the bullets flying through the air.
We got shots fired
couldn't
up
have been
here.
a straight
We need
shot. It had
backup
to be-
immediately. Start
Are you-
EMS. Start EMS.
What
We got
the
a
fuck?
civilian. We got a civilian hit.
The deputy.
Looks like we got us another hit.
This is copyright.gov, U.S. Copyright Office. More information on fair use. Fair use is a legal doctrine that promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyright-protected works in certain circumstances. Section 107 of the Copyright Act provides the statutory framework for determining whether something is a fair use and identifies certain types of uses such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research as examples of activities that may qualify as fair use. Section 107 calls for consideration of the following 4 factors in evaluating a question of fair use: purpose and character of the use, including whether the use of the commercial nature or is for nonprofit educational purposes, nature of the copyrighted work, amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole, effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. Okay, so anything I use for you guys, hit me up if you want me to remove it, edit it, or whatever. Nothing is used to infringe on anybody's intellectual property. I don't intend on doing that, and I don't intend on profiting from anyone's intellectual property. So I'm glad to edit or delete anything that's any of my videos that I've used of anybody. So that's it. Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, an educated public cannot be controlled. Learn to be active. The views and events expressed here are totally whacked and are not necessarily the views of anyone. Let me change this. That's distracting. Yeah, so today, pressing too many buttons. Dogs and baseball. Dogs and baseball, y'all. That's the name of the show. You know, on this show, I talk about a lot of stuff that people will be, scared to talk about or scared to say, you know what I mean? And then on the show, I like to get people to come, and I invite people all the time. People get scared. I think that's the reason why they don't, and I get it. So, but, a lot of the stuff I say, a lot of people wouldn't say or would be afraid to say or whatever. But what I'm about to say right now, I'm kind of scared to say. I ain't gonna lie. It's gonna seem trivial once I say it, but for me, it's kind of scary, you know. And it's because of the society that we live in. You know, people are so dogmatic. Perfect word. When it comes to their views related to certain things, and then it's like it's so entrenched in us that when I say this, it's gonna sound really weird. Really strange, okay? Dogs and baseball, what do they have in common? I don't like them. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna explain. Okay? So let's go with the dogs because that's the part I'm sure that people really got a problem with, okay? So I don't like the idea of pets overall. I don't like what we've done to dogs, the way we breed them, and we've made them like the things that we find so cute about them is what makes them like not viable, like if that makes any sense. Like what I mean is I feel like I have love for all sentient beings, all God's creations, everything, and I love them. I really do, and but I don't want to. I don't like to see them in that state where it's like people make them into their slaves, you know, and it's totally okay. And then it's like when you think about it in slave terms, then maybe people would understand better because it's like, when they were slaves, they bred the slaves, right? I mean, it's you breed your dogs, call me freaking crazy. You have total control of them. You deciding what if they get to be neutered or not. Do they get to make babies or not? What happens to their babies once they're born? That it should be a living, free creature like God intended it to be. That's just how I feel about that. Dogs in nature, they're real. And that's why the dogs that I do like, my favorite breeds are like the Alaskan Husky type, because I feel like those are more close. They're more closer to I think what nature intended. Like they're not far from wolves. They're really intelligent. They're big. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, they can carry their weight, if you will. But we've made these dogs into like our little pets, and we make them the way they look, exactly how we want them to look in the face and everything. And they can't breathe. They're not living a good life. Their life is short and harsh, and you're just freaking, you've created that situation. Oh, I just want a pet. He's so cute. Okay, that's fine. I get it, but just realize what you're doing. Just realize what you're doing. So that's the thing. I don't like it. I don't like the way people are with their pets. And like, so the thing is though, with cats and dogs, though, those will be the ones that would be the most, acceptable, if you will. But that's as a result of us freaking breeding them forever. So making them all docile and not what nature intended. But I like cats. I like cats because they're closer to it. Like cats, you can let them go and they might make it. Like, I mean, I guess it's true for the dogs a little bit. It's just that the natural side of cats, like their instinctiveness, it's kind of still there. We never really made them into they look at us like we're, serving them, even though it's the same situation with the breeding and so forth and so on. And I don't like that. So with all of the pets, I don't like that idea of making them into your slaves and making them, just completely controlling them, dictating, not allowing them to have a actual life. I believe all the animals should have a chance to go out there and, run around and get done in if necessary. I'll look at it later. And baseball. So like everybody's talking about baseball, you got the World Series or whatever is going on. And I'm supposed to care. That the Stros are in there and they're gonna win or they're not gonna win or whatever. But the thing is, I just don't. I really don't. I mean, I'm not trying to be offensive to anyone, you know? It's just that, you know, it's so much other things going on in the world, you know, than who hit the ball, you know? And, you know, and then I could talk about the sports and other reasons why I don't like it. Like, as far as baseball, is like they don't have no salary cap, so they just got teams with all stars on it. So of course they're going to win. You could predict who's going to go to the playoffs next season right now. You could probably predict who's most likely out of two teams who's going to win the freaking whole thing. You know, it's not very racially diverse. It's America's pastime. You know, I saw a report where they was talking about how there's no African American players on either team playing in the World Series. And you can say, whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, okay, yeah, well, it don't really matter. I don't really care because I don't care about it at all. You know, but it's reflecting something. It's reflecting what the image of America or whatever is. You know, it's America's pastime. It's the same thing with the pets and with the dogs. And like I say, these words that I'm saying are scary for me to say because they're, you know, I could lose my whole damn audience. You know, but it's like it's so acceptable to have these pets, have these dogs. We walking around cleaning up after them. They poop. We go pick up their poop and we put it in our pocket. Like, all of this stuff is weird, man. I don't understand why people can't really just see that. Like, that's not how nature intended, if you will. Like, I get it. Leaving the poop there, somebody gonna step on it. Totally understand that. Like, it's courtesy. I get it. But just us having the dog in the first place, where we're walking it and having to pick up his poop, it's like one absurd thing leads to another. It's an unfortunate series of absurd events. Anyways, oh man, I'm gonna have to eat something. I was running around today. I had to go to class this morning, and then I had to go to work after that. And I had to go to the grocery store after work, and I had to do homework that I hadn't finished. Now that's my fault, though. I freaking just I should have did it earlier. I had a little bit of time. I could have done it. I didn't. So that's the reason why I'm late. So I apologize, you guys, for being late today.
Turkeys, rabbits, you name it. I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, rabbits, you name it. Look. I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rabbits, you name it. Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs.
Yep, this is an old meme, but hey, it's that season. It's coming back. Freaking Thanksgiving is coming up. So anyways, I don't know. I'm an internet person. That kind of thing is, I don't know. We meme. It's the meme generation. It's all about the memes. They turn people into memes. The politics is memes. It's just boiled down to me. Everything is a meme. Speaking of memes, this one says, it cost Kyrie $500,000 to tell y'all to go watch a documentary. Freedom fighting ain't free. Man, I kind of want to wait till somebody get in here. Hopefully, I want to talk about Kyrie a little bit more. They freaking, they suspended him. He freaking apologized and gave him money, and then they still suspended him, bro. Let me read the comment. It says the documentary is fire. Go to Amazon and cop that. Another comment, it says, why, when we learn history and teach it to our people, it's anti-Semitic when it involves them, LOL. You can't change history. They're using that term to try to silence us. It's a humiliation ritual that needs to stop. These attempts to put black men in their place is really a constant attempt to undermine black masculinity. What group of men want to constantly see their men bowing out to another group of people? We need to have an honest conversation about the psychological effect the shaming and humiliation tactics are having on the black community and the messaging it's signaling to the world. Are our voices owned? Man, that's a great comment. They were saying that black people don't own their own voice. We talked about that in the other show. That's a great comment. The humiliation ritual needs to stop. These attempts to put black men in their place is really a constant attempt to undermine black masculinity. Man, that's heavy. Freaking, and that's what we were talking about, the LGBTQ community, as far as people wanting to not feel oppressed or feel like, so then they just take on a role that allows them to, play this game, in a different way and being shielded and protected. It's a lot of places I go where it's like the black guy that has the good job, the boss black guy, just so happens to be gay. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think all of these dudes are gay. Like, they freaking doing this so that they're not looked at as a threat. The black guy walks around and everywhere he goes, the black man, he's seen as a threat, like automatically off top, no matter what. If you come off as gay, then you automatically are disarmed or whatever. Like they don't feel like you're a threat. You're no longer a threat. So that's a real fucking thing. And we were talking about Kyrie and how like whipping you. That's what I was saying. Like they're whipping you. So that's what it is. It's taking your masculinity, castrating you, digging in you in front of everybody. That's what they did to the slaves back in the day, in front of their family. So that their family won't even be able to respect him as a man. So the black man is the least respected off top. And here's an example of why. They're constantly getting emasculated. This one, it says, white privilege is Brett Favre not being canceled by Nike, Snapper, Remington, Sears, Prozac, for his role in $70 million fraud scheme and stealing $5 million from poor black children. Yep. Why isn't that all over everywhere like the Kanye stuff is? There's a reason for that. The same reason why you can make rap songs about killing black people all day. Nobody bats an eye. It's totally fine.
So I know you get irritated when people point out the fact that you're dark or you're chocolate, but don't you think like that could also be a good thing? It's like for the longest time, they've always linked dark to something negative, right? And I know a lot of you guys also get offended when people call you chocolate. But if you think about chocolate is something that people like. So why is it that you guys get like, or we get irritated when people call us Hershey or chocolate or something like that? I feel like that is something that we should embrace. We are that. Well, so I know you get irritated when people point out the fact that you're dark or you're chocolate, but don't you think like that could also be a good thing? It's like for the longest time, they've always linked dark.
I love chocolate. And that's what I say all the time, chocolate. I don't think it's derogatory at all, but see, it depends on who's saying it, right? And what they mean, right? But then it's hard to know that, right? So then that's a problem. So, but then, because people have fetishes, and it may look like affection, but it's a fetish and it's not the same. So, but I don't know. I like chocolate. I love it. Let me read a comment. First, the caption, it says context is key. What's your thoughts? Context. That's the thing. Like, yeah. So I guess that's what I was saying. It depends on the context. If it comes across as a fetish, then it's a bad thing. And if, sometimes people are, are racist as fuck, but they still like have this like fetish, and then they still have this like, they hate it, but they love it. It's hard to explain anyways. Let me read this comment. It says, nope, I don't get offended at all. Chocolate is a delicacy. Just know I'm top shelf chocolate Godiva. It says, depends on the portion and the tone. Another comment, it says, you can't tell someone to embrace something that they don't want to be referred to as simply because you feel like it's something good. Their mother gave them an entire name for a reason. Okay, that's a fair point of view. Another comment, it says, yum yum, I love being called chocolate, comfortable in my skin. Another comment, I don't get offended by chocolate. I just don't like when black people act like we are a different species. Like, dang, LOL. Just because I'm dark skinned, I'm not normal. Yeah, man. There's the white supremacy thing, because I played a quote in the other video that I don't know if people really understood it, but the dude was saying that if there was no white people, the white supremacy would still exist because it's hammered in. So then you have this this colorism that goes on within all the damn communities, and it's really crazy how you have family members. This lady was telling me a story that she was it was my instructor. She was saying she was the darker one. She's Hispanic. She's like part Spain and part like Aboriginal, like I don't know, Mexican. Anyways, she came out darker, and her sister is like blonde hair, blue eyed, and she's a little bit, she doesn't look dark at all. But within her family, she had a darker hair too. She has brown hair. So they discriminated against her on that basis. And it happens within the black community too. It's really a strange phenomenon, where because this idea of the lighter the skin is, the better they are, or whatever, within each community, you have this hierarchy of that. So when the lady made the comment about not treating me like I'm normal, I've seen that within the black community, where because someone is really dark skinned, they treat them different. Like, really do. They really do. It's crazy. It's insanity. When you have a colonized mind, then you start doing that. But then you have this tribal stuff that happens. But that shouldn't, truthfully, it doesn't usually have to do with that. It may have to do with some kind of like physical appearances sometimes, but skin tone specifically, not very often, I don't think. Like, what I mean is, I don't think that really happens naturally, because I think that people would make that argument that it would happen naturally in a tribal way, But I believe that tribally, yes, it'll be physical differences as far as like the taller folks. These people lineage is taller, or they're shorter, or something like that. I could see that, and it being like a tribal freaking thing where they're competing or whatever for resources, and then they also kind of like identify each other by like this height thing. But the skin tone thing is more of it's been programmed. It's a programming, as far as when you go to talk about albino, then historically in Africa, they have had discrimination towards albinos. So, but that's still different, I would say, because when you're just talking about skin tone, albino is different. So that's not the same necessarily, and that's not cool either. That's not cool either. But see, what it is they have reverence for them, the albinos. So, but then they have the reverence for them, but then they persecute them and they discriminate them at the same time. It's like that love-hate relationship. It's crazy. But I still feel like that's different than the colorism, racism thing.
off turbans. So this is in Iran. So I'm thinking that this is like the counter protest type of thing related, because they're protesting in Iran ever since the Iman Somali, the young chick, was killed by the morality police or whatever. So that, anyways, that's the narrative. So, but yeah, so I believe this is like the counter protest, like they're going around and knocking dudes turbans off of men's heads are being widely shared in Iran. The campaign is believed to have been launched as part of recent protests against the government and the religious establishment. Turbans are generally worn only by clerics in Iran, and the trend has received criticism online. Just as we strongly condemn pulling the veil from the head of any woman, we also condemn forcing the veil of people's heads. We also that's an insult. Knocking off turbans is extremely ugly and is not acceptable at all, because that cleric who is walking. Since the death of young woman in custody, protests have continued across Iran. Videos have shown Iranian security forces beating protesters. Around 300 have been killed in unrest, including 46 minors and members of the security forces. Iran says around 1,000 people are being put on trial over the protests. That's from Al Jazeera. I blipped up a little bit of it, but they were saying the part knocking it's not cool to knock the turbans off. That's basically, it was like a disclaimer from Al Jazeera. The caption, it says, videos of young protesters knocking turbans off of men's head have gone viral. Videos of young protesters knocking turbans off of men's heads have gone viral in Iran. Protests have swept the country in recent weeks, but this latest trend has received criticism online. Comment. It says, you can say it's disrespectful if you are not suffering from their rule for 43 years. They are in power yet do nothing to stop murdering and torturing people. People are dying because of them. Then you, from nowhere, claim knocking turbans is disrespectful. Shame on you. This is nothing in comparison with the lost lives. They deserve it. I can't really I'm not from there, so I can't say heavily. But from my point of view, I would have to say that I don't overall agree with this comment. I mean, because this is the kind of rhetoric that causes things to... But they deserve to fight back and get what their respect. That's what they want. And protesting is protesting. There always be like, don't do it like that. It's like, you could protest, but don't do it like that. So that's what it's always about. So if you protest in a way that is cool with them, then it's not going to be effective. So boom, boom, bing. That's how that goes. But at the same time, yeah, I don't condone knocking the dudes' turbans off. I don't think that's cool. I would have to say that. Another comment, it says, someone commented, this is too far, but the killing of innocent women isn't. No compassion for the women, but when the men who rule the country and can make changes for their women are ridiculed, it's too far. Comical. Another comment, it says, sorry, but you don't live in Iran and you have no fucking idea what they did against people over the years in my country. Their children are living their best lives in best countries, and our people are dying and suffering because of the situation who they made for us. This is not about Allah, about Islam. Stop talking shit about us. They are committing crimes in the name of Islam and forcing us to be quiet. Oh my God, this is Islamic Republic. You said something against law and Islam and Allah, you should die. But this time, we won't be silent, as you can see. We made our voice heard in the world because we are Iranian with 5,000 years of history. Woo, this is emotional. Another comment, it says, no, they are not citizens. They are the governing body, and every single person who is not publicly opposing these brutal murders is standing right beside the oppressors. They are torturing arrestees in the same schools that belong to those citizens. Not in theory, this is evidence. This is not about religion. The religious populations are participating as well. Be aware of anyone who's trying to make this look like a war against any religion and recognizes the nuances. As a last reminder, a lot of those campaigns condemning those protests are launched by Basij, IRGC, Cyber Department. So, and I was questioning the thing about this whole thing anyways, related to the protests in Iran. But, yeah, it's not about religion. So getting caught up in that is but that's how they protect themselves. That's how they always do. And that's what really makes me sad because, and then within the group, you have a bunch of them that are very righteous and they're not intending on using religion to be able to do like atrocities. But then there's others there that's their sole intention. And they use the religion as a cloak. And then they use it as a tool so that they can do it with impunity. Basically, whatever they want to do. Oppress women. Beat them up for not wearing a hijab properly. And say, well, the Quran, it says it in the Quran. The Quran says this. Wait, man. No, you tripping. You can't freaking just kill women. It doesn't say that. And if it does, it's not cool. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't say that. Hold on, let me see. 36 languages. Why is every election like that? Oh, this shows the shooting in what's the name? I guess I could play this. I don't think I could play it because of that music. It says, watch the moment former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan was shot in the leg at a rally in Wazirabad in Panjshir province. Mr. Khan was rushed away from the scene to hospital, and his supporters said he had survived the assassination attempt. Yeah, there's more to this, but that's pretty big news over there. I don't know if I want to, because I wanted to. Hold on. Now my phone is making noises. Chick-fil-A talking about going to 3 days a week. Hold on. That's more about this. I'm going to come back to this, though, because I'm going to have to read a lot, and I need to rest my freaking voice. This is a horrible ass story right here.
Beloved high school teacher found slain in a park. Now comes another shock. These two students charged with her slaying. 66-year-old Noema Graber taught Spanish at Fairfield High School in Iowa.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas noches.
She was recently praised by a student during National Teacher Appreciation Week.
Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, Mrs. Graber. Thank you for all that you do in and out of the classroom. We really appreciate how much fun we have in your class and how much Spanish we learn. And we just hope you have a really good day. Gracias.
She was a classy lady. She was a dedicated lady. She cared deeply about the kids as people.
The teacher was reported missing on Wednesday. Her body was found under a tarp in the park later that day. Police say the two accused boys knew that she took a stroll in the park every day and that they were waiting to ambush her.
Damn.
The cause of death is said to be a blow to her head. Chaden Miller and Jeremy Gooddale are charged with first-degree homicide. This photo shows Miller and his sisters reenacting the famous painting American Gothic. And this video shows a young Gooddale during Christmas.
Tons of fun.
In a Facebook posting, the slain teacher's son says, "I forgive them and feel sorry that they had that anger in their hearts. There's no point in being angry at them. My mother was an angel of a woman and was one of the kindest souls. Fairfield High School has 522 students. Mrs. Graber taught there for 9 years. The school was closed today to allow staff and students to mourn.
According to court documents, a friend of the suspects gave police social media communications that had details about a motive for the killing, but authorities are not making that information public.
A beloved high school.
Damn, bro, that's some. Let me read some. D.L. Hughley post this, but he being messy. Let me read some comments. It says, "MAGA children, I bet." Another comment says, "And y'all think violence only happens in hip hop and the black community?" Let me read another comment. "What the F is wrong with them? I guess the grade was worth the prison time." Another comment says, "F that, I would never forgive." Another comment, "Here comes the white tears, pre-trial intervention, first time offender program, probation, RRP mama." Another comment, it says, "Probably had nothing to do with the grades and more to do with her skin color or her accent too. Both." Let me read another comment. It says, "Why is it only homicide? Should be first degree murder. It was premeditated." Another comment, "What the F? It's a shame how little some teenagers value a human life." Shaking my head. "What's the penalty for expulsion? Burning your house down with your family in it?" Another comment, it says, "They couldn't just cheat like regular kids." Another comment, "Probably serve time until they're 21 and then be free." Another comment, where the parents, what are they trying to say? Parade them all over the news and social networks like they do others. Sick times we're in, bring back sanity and value. It is a crazy world. Another comment, it says, "America hates us, hates black people, hates anyone who isn't white and fanatically religious Christian." Another comment, it says, "Who raised these kids?" It's a reflection, man. The whole thing, that's what I'm going to go into, because Pelosi, I don't like it. I said it in the other show, but I really don't like that, man. I don't like it. Y'all want to pick a side and say whatever. They have, wait a minute. I think I have it in here too. Freaking, that's not cool, man. The dude hit the old dude with the damn hammer. Oh, wait, this is it right here, I think.
This out, which I think is an interesting take. A guy showed up to Kavanaugh's house with a gun and a knife, planning to murder him and 2 other conservative justices. The media treated it like a minor sideshow, which we have a short on this channel of going through the different major media outlets to finding one that would report on this story on its front page. And we found like nothing. We found maybe one major site that was doing it, and I don't even remember the name of it at this moment. Meanwhile, this Pelosi story gets days of headline coverage, and we're not supposed to notice the disparity. Not only are we not supposed to notice the disparity between these 2 instances, Kavanaugh versus Pelosi, but we're also not supposed to notice the blatant lies that you are putting out without substantiating anything you're saying.
Yeah, someone who happened to be a supporter of the policies that you prefer conducted an attack on a Supreme Court justice and attempted to kill them by his own admission. No, that's not a story.
Nope.
But we don't know anything. The crazy person with a hammer shows up and all of a sudden it's misinformation to even question the idea that this wouldn't be a MAGA Republican. It's like, come on.
Matt Walsh tweeted this out, which I think is an interesting take.
Oh, that makes me want to throw up. Come on, y'all. The dude, Pelosi's husband, was in intensive care or whatever. He just got out of the hospital. He was in there for a week. He had fractures in his skull. The dude hit him with a hammer, tried to kill him for real. Kavanaugh didn't have no injuries. Nothing happened to the dude. Nothing. That's not the same. You cannot compare them two. He got hit in the head. Kavanaugh got nothing. That's totally, completely different. One is a story. Both of them are a story, but the guy got hit. He almost killed him, like, for real. And you guys are acting like this didn't even really happen. oh, it's bothering me. And then it's like, just because I don't care which side it is. If it's Republicans or if it's Democrats, I don't care. But this is horrible. You know, if it was on the flip side, and then you would be like, oh, it's not a story. Or how would you be? Would you be like, because it's your team? It depends on which team it is. Come on, these are real people and they're really alive. Have some freaking compassion for human life. That is the problem. That's the reason why we freaking can't, that's the reason why everything is trash. Everything is shit. Because people having this attitude of, I'm just going to root for my team like it's a baseball game. No, these are real people. They're really alive and they can really be dead if somebody came and killed them. And then you're gonna make jokes about that and you're gonna post that online? Hold on. Let me see. Give me a second, y'all.
Some breaking news.
I done lost it. Okay, yeah, I'm sharing. All right.
Out of California, Paul Pelosi, husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, was released from the hospital late this afternoon, and he has returned home after being attacked on Friday. Today, federal authorities said the Canadian man accused of attacking Pelosi may be in this country illegally. The Department of Homeland Security said the suspect, 42-year-old David DePape, may have overstayed his authorized entry into the country in March of 2008.
And I was talking about immigration.
Some breaking news out of
illegal immigrant. And then what I was saying when I was making the argument, for the longest, the majority of the people that's here are people that overstay their visas, not the people they're saying it's a flood coming through the damn border, the southern border. The majority of the illegal immigrants that's here came here with a visa and overstayed it. Okay? And like I say, the dude got out the hospital. He was in there for a week. That's an actual real thing that happened. Like was Kavanaugh in the hospital, y'all, when that shit happened? Hold on, man. I think I have some more on this. Where's some more on Pelosi's husband? Let's see. I was watching a lot of shit. Fucking, I'm gonna have to look it up. Freaking, it's a real thing that happened, y'all, and y'all arguing about the facts. Can we all agree on the facts of things? Like we can't even do that. What actually happened? Like, don't pick a side. Can we just explain what happened? What actually happened? You don't have to pick a side. And they focusing on him being here illegally. Hold on. Let me see. Conspiracy theories. PBS NewsHour, that's a whole 10 minutes. I want them to show the facts of what actually happened. See, that's what's so crazy. Then they're talking about his social media. Anyways, I played it during the other show, but I'm just irritated that let's play some of this.
As we reported, the man who attacked House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, in his home on Friday is facing federal criminal charges. The suspect has been charged with one count of assault of the immediate family member of a U.S. official, in this case, Speaker Pelosi, in retaliation for that official's duties, and one count of attempted kidnapping of a U.S. official. Now, that's in addition to a host of charges filed locally by the San Francisco District Attorney, including attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and elder abuse. Lisa Desjardins has an update on what we know and on the flood of disinformation being spread on the right.
Out of San Francisco, alarming details of the assault on Speaker Pelosi's family. In an affidavit, FBI agents testify that suspect David DePape brought zip ties, tape, and rope with him, and that his plan was to tie up Speaker Pelosi and break her kneecaps if she didn't answer questions the way he wanted. Further, the filing says he broke a glass panel to enter her home and woke up Paul Pelosi in his bed. Officers say DePape compared himself to the founding fathers and said he was fighting Pelosi as the leader of the Democrats. In the lead up to the attack, DePape trafficked in right-wing conspiracies online, including posts related to QAnon and attacking the legitimacy of the 2020 election. Now, powerful figures like Elon Musk, the new owner of Twitter, are adding new layers of untethered conspiracy targeting Pelosi. This
Why did they
weekend,
just
Musk
throw?
tweeted, "There's a tiny possibility there might be more to this story than meets the eye." He
Oh,
later deleted that post. But in it, Musk linked to a discredited right-wing article theorizing with no evidence that the assault was actually a drunk dispute with a male sex worker. That baseless conspiracy was echoed by Republican House member Representative Clay Higgins of Louisiana in a barely veiled tweet about drugs and nudity, which he later deleted. Texas Senator Ted Cruz proclaimed as truth a conspiracy-raising post saying no one will ever know what happened in the attack, but it was not right-wing violence. And there was this. Before the attack, Republican Congressman Tom Emmer had tweeted video of himself at a firing range, and he had tweeted, quote, "Let's fire Pelosi." Emmer, who heads the Republican efforts to retake the House, kept that video and tweet up even after the attack. And while he condemned the violence, Emmer defended his original message yesterday to CBS News.
You're shooting a gun. Our viewers just saw it.
Yeah, right.
Hashtag fire Pelosi.
Exercising our Second Amendment rights, having
That's not a
fun.
debate about.
Meantime, the top House Republican in the country, Kevin McCarthy, did condemn the attack outright on Fox News this weekend.
Let me be perfectly clear. Violence or threat of violence has no place in our society. And what happened to Paul Pelosi is wrong.
But he has not yet sent out a single tweet or issued a public written statement on the assault. President Biden had this message for Republicans.
The talk has to stop. That's the problem. That's the problem. You can't just say, "I feel badly about the violence." We condemn it. Condemn.
stop bringing out Biden when y'all trying to make a point. That doesn't work. It's not a good move. Gosh. Freaking, the point is the violence, right? And then the rhetoric behind it, and then denying what the hell actually happened, you know? And you know, it's insanity, bro. It's really crazy. It's really crazy where we're at. So I wanted to play that just to freaking clear up the freaking what actually freaking happened. Like, okay, it happened. The dude got hit in the head with the hammer. It happened. Yeah, and the other guy did it because of for political reasons. This is all freaking true. So whatever. Y'all want to add some more layers to it? That's fine. Those two are true. Actually happened. Those are facts. We're gonna have to start doing a "those are facts" segment. We need to clear some shit up. I'm losing it. I have some more. Let's go back to. Oh damn! That's what happens when I push the button too much. Can y'all even hear me? Anyways, I'm gonna go back to. I know I lost the green screen. I'm gonna go back to Instagram. If it lets me. Fuck. What is going on? Can y'all hear me? I'm gonna reboot right quick. Wait, can y'all hear me? Oh shit. Something weird. Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. All right. Y'all should be able to hear me. Uh-oh. Something is going on with my background. Whatever. We're going to keep it moving. I'll play with it and figure it out while we're going. So yeah, PragerU and the Kavanaugh fucking comparison. That shit just kind of pissed me off. I ain't gonna lie. The PragerU caption, it says, evidently to the media, some victims matter more than others. Freaking the victim that got hit in the head with the hammer, bro. It's not if they were Democrat or Republican. Like, the dude could have died. It's like fake news. CBS, CNN is horrible. Well, you're right. But it's more nuanced than that. What part of it is fake? What part of it is true? Or is there any truth in it? It's all just not true? So what? The news source where you get your news from, all of what they say is true? There's nothing that's not true in there? This dude say she shot up his house. That's debauchery. I ain't gonna cover that. Freaking Jay Prince's statement. I was thinking about covering that. About freaking the shooting. I wanted to talk about Bolsonaro. Wait, this is funny. Let's do something funny. It's that damn bush, that tree they got over there in the corner. If it's not real, that's even worse. Of course, it's gonna look like something's over there when you turn the light off. The shadows and shit. You're gonna be like, "Wait, did that thing move?" Oh, okay, yeah. This is back on the same topic. Yeah, let me play this.
An official or candidate has ever condoned or in any way encouraged any type of violent assault? Can you start naming them? I can't.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Knock the crap out of him. Maybe he should have been roughed up.
They never name names because they can't.
I want you to watch Nancy Pelosi hand you that gun. It'll be hard not to hit her with it, but I will bang it down.
It's a crime punishable by death, is what treason is. Nancy Pelosi is guilty of treason, and we want her out.
They never name names because they can't.
That is a depiction of Representative Gosar carrying swords, attacking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
They never name names.
Let's have trial by combat. Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking ass. We will not go quietly into the night.
Striking fear in the hearts of liberals everywhere, folks.
Get on the phone, call your congressman. You can lightly threaten. I'm coming after you. Madison Cawthorn's coming after you. Everybody's coming after you.
I don't think liberals
not right now. Just save me some. Some on the
you better
plate.
believe I'm coming with my Springfield XPS.
The swamp isn't truly drained until we've nailed the hides of the alligators to the wall.
They never name names because they can't.
Second term kicks off with firing Ray, firing Fauci. I'd put the heads on pikes, right? I'd put them at the two corners of the White House as a warning.
As a warning.
That's what I'm saying. You don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Now, which Republican official or candidate has ever condoned or in any way encouraged any type of violent assault? Can you start?
And if that stuff gets you going, understand that these people are politicians, talking heads, pundits. They're sitting in their little pretty little offices. They're gonna go get in their Tesla and drive to their really nice place. They're not freaking finna do none of this shit that they talking. Your ass gonna go out there and do the shit, and you the one that's gonna catch the case or die or whatever the hell happens as a repercussion. They just talking shit. Please don't let these people rile y'all up and have you doing stuff so you can go to jail or get killed. They just talking. They're just saying words. But see, the rhetoric is the problem. You know, this insinuatory, this you know, inflammatory rhetoric. You know, that is the problem. That's what's riling these people up. They just want to get votes. They're riling you up to try to get you to go vote, not necessarily to go hit Nancy Pelosi's husband in the head with a hammer. They just want you to come vote That's all. Keep the system going and keep the status quo and keep everything where it's at. And I understand that you actually want things to change, but going to go hit Nancy Pelosi's husband in the head with a hammer is not going to accomplish that. Okay. And also going to go vote probably is not going to accomplish that. I'm just saying. So you need to think about this a little bit more, you know, and come at this in a different way. What I say is educate yourself. Start there. Learn more shit about this shit. Because when you learn more, you can maneuver around in the system and do things, you know? It's like Neo in the Matrix. You get to fly around and shit. Maybe you can have an impact. Maybe you can get together people and have an impact. But the more you know, knowing is half the battle, right? Freaking to be forearmed is to be forewarned or whatever. I just agree, you know, and I don't care about whether it's Republicans or Democrats. I'm not picking on the Republicans, but it's just that the rhetoric, those words are igniting people, and it's gonna cause more and more people to get hurt. Can anybody disagree with that? I mean, whatever side you're on, can you not see the cycle of the way things are gonna go? Like, continue to keep on getting more and more violent, but politically violent. Is that what we want? Is that what we want to see? Do we want to see freaking politicians getting killed left and right? Is that going to make our democracy more stable? It says, okay, thank you. It says, today, Republicans weekly cover their shameful hypocrisies with explanations and justifications so thin a child could see through them. Knowing that Fox News has the flagrant gullibility of their cretinous base will do all the heavy lifting for them. Soon they will stop justifying themselves. If we let them regain power, I'm not reading the rest of that because they're trying to get you to vote, whatever, so. Like vote blue, whatever. And that's the problem because each one is screaming for their team and they don't care. That's why Herschel Walker might win. Nobody cares. It's like I'm rooting for my team. I do not care. Oh, look, this is a good example. It says, why is every election like this? It says, free Krispy Kreme donut, 50.1%. Nana's house gets burnt down, 49.9%. Election results. These are your options. Either Nana's house gets burned down or you get a free Krispy Kreme donut. And getting a free Krispy Kreme donut only won by 0.1%. So a lot of people was thinking, shit, fuck it. Nana's house get burnt down. Fuck it. I ain't like Nana anyway. She was mean to me. This is the world we live in right here. This is it. That's crazy. Freaking. It's one more in here, I think. It's a couple other ones I wanted, but I'm trying to hold it together here, y'all. Keep it together. Oh, yeah, Kyrie. They're freaking on Kyrie's head, man.
In your mind, you said I didn't mean to cause any harm. Were you apologizing or not?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
You sort of wanted to hear the word I apologize, or in your mind, you said I didn't mean to cause any harm. Were you apologizing or not?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
You sort of wanted to hear.
I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from. I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from. I told you guys how I felt.
I think America deserves an apology from you.
Not from me?
No?
No, not at all. You know,
not on your choice of words.
Please.
Not on your choice of words.
You know, it's a case of the victim being charged with the crime. We didn't bring ourselves here. Your fathers brought us here. We didn't sell ourselves into bondage. Your fathers brought us here, robbed us of our name, language, culture, religion, God, country, flag. And for 300 years, my fathers, my mothers were hitched to the plow like some animal. The Constitution of the United States didn't protect me, neither me nor my people. And now today, we are charged with the hatred of white people. I think that's sick.
I think America deserves an apology from you.
Not from me.
No?
No, not at all. You know,
Not on your...
He say, not for me. No, not at all. They on Kyrie's head, man. Now they find he's suspended. Do I have a video on that? They freaking suspended him now. He gave him money. He basically apologized. Freaking, and that's still not good enough. Okay, ESPN, I can't play that. NBC, can I play this? Am I sharing? Oh, I'm not sharing. My bad. My bad. That's why it sucks when I don't have nobody here. I thought I was sharing. Like 20 seconds.
We've got some breaking news tonight from the NBA. The Brooklyn Nets have announced that they are suspending point guard Kyrie Irving for at least 5 games without pay. The suspension comes after a recent controversy where Irving shared a link to an anti-Semitic film last week. The team says that he has refused to acknowledge that the documentary had hateful material. Mr. Irving also refused to unequivocally say that he has no anti-Semitic beliefs. A statement from the team reads in part, quote, "We are of the view that he, Mr. Irving, is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. We have decided that Kyrie will serve a suspension without pay until he satisfies a series of objective remedial measures that address the harmful impact of his conduct," unquote. Again, the breaking news from the NBA, Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets is suspended without pay for at least 5 games after sharing a link to an anti-Semitic documentary on social media.
Dun, dun, dun. And then I heard the quote that the dude said. He said he didn't unequivocally say that he had anti-Jewish sentiments or something like that. He said, but he did say that. You know, it's like the question that they're trying to ask him. I don't know. They're trying to get him to say something, and he's not doing that. And that's what they're mad at him about. Like, I don't know, man. This shit is on display for everybody to see if y'all just pay attention. Let me read the caption. It says, the Brooklyn Nets released a statement saying Kyrie Irving has been suspended for at least 5 games with no pay for refusing to acknowledge a link to a documentary he shared on social media that contained hateful material, and Irving refused to unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs. Unequivocally say. So he should have said, I unequivocally have no anti-Semitic beliefs. Is that what he had to say? Because I mean, he's like, I can't be anti-Semitic. I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic. I can't be anti-Semitic. That's what he said. It's like, wait a minute. What does that mean? What does that mean, Kyrie? Get the fuck. Let me read some comments. It says, these are comments underneath that video. Random people. It says, it's out in the open. More and more people are finding out the truth. To find out who rules over you, simply find out who you cannot question. Voltaire, paraphrase. Another comment, it says, I don't know details of what was shared, but it always makes me cringe when a wealthy establishment refuses to pay yet another person of color for their beliefs. What will they do with the money they don't pay him? Pay for his education, pay for someone's rent, help someone who doesn't have a home? It's just a power move meant to demonize him. Again, I don't have the full context, but the Brooklyn team owners aren't heroes because they took a stand to not pay someone. Cops out here getting paid leave for some heinous acts. Maybe it was Kyrie's time to feel some financial pain. I don't know. I cringe the same at this point till I get a fuller picture. I think your assessments are right on, buddy. Let me read some more. It says, in the words of one of my high school teachers, better late than, he says, better never than late. I just messed up my brain because he twisted it, but okay, I get it. Better never than late. Let me read another comment. It says, never apologize to the woke cancel culture PC mafia. Stand strong, Kyrie. Another comment, it says, so he got suspended for what he didn't say? I'm like trying to understand it too. Like it's like, what are y'all suspended? What happened? That's random as hell. Random. It's like they had to be on his ass, like on looking for something. That's like if you have your boss and they're mad at you and they're looking for something to fire you or something to write you up for, and they gotta go freaking digging. They gotta go to digging and find some shit. Let me read another comment. It says, God bless Kyrie and Ye for having the courage to speak truth to power. Another comment, it says, Kyrie should file a lawsuit. I don't mean to offend anybody by mentioning his comparison, but it's something that I never understood. The Jews in Europe suffered genocide at the hands of the Nazis for 12 years, resulting in World War II. After World War II, when the world caught wind of the inhumane actions took against the Jews during the Holocaust, the world came together and pathed a road toward the existence of Israel. So basically what I'm saying is, for the 12 years of suffering that the Jews endured, they received the whole country. Africans were sold into slavery to Americans colonized around 1492, and this lasted until around 1865. So close to 400 years total, and 89 of them years were under the established United States of America. When the world found out about the evil treatment of slaves and the fact that they were not even considered as human beings, the world did nothing. When looking at these two evil historical events side by side, the Jews killed during the Holocaust, which lasted 12 years, and an estimated 6 million Jews murdered, and then Africans sold into slavery, losing all human rights, which lasted 400 years, and an estimated 60 million Africans murdered. How can anybody say that the world's reaction and outcomes to the two separate evil travesties is fair, or even in the same ballpark as fair? The Jews suffered 12 years, lost 6 million people, and the outcome was the world basically gave them a country. Africans were sold into slavery, suffered 400 years. How is this justice, and how come nobody ever talks about this modern day comparison? Yeah, because let me see. There's more to it. He says, I think that maybe waiving African Americans' home property tax for 400 years will be a good start towards reparations. Israel wouldn't exist without the West's intervention, true or false? Who besides Jews benefited from Israel becoming a country? African slaves in the U.S. were not even treated with the decency or even with the recognition that they were human beings in the U.S. for 400 years. When slaves were freed in the U.S., they were told, good luck. Good luck catching up to the rest of society financially. Good luck catching up with the rest of society community-wise. Good luck finding employment with the very little education and skills that slave owners allowed to them while held in slavery. Good luck surviving in America. I don't support popular mainstream media propaganda. My comment meets community-friendly guidelines. Unpopular should never equal inappropriate. Well, they didn't kick your comment out, so you must have known what you were doing. Let me read some more. It says, lies. They want him to bow down and apologize. He's already said he's not anti-Semitic, so why must he apologize for something he's not? We see the truth, so keep up the good work. Another one, it says, Swedge are like the final boss. No one has defeated them. Another comment. Can someone please tell me what the film said that was anti-Semitic? I didn't watch it, and nobody's clarifying what made it bad. Another comment, it says, the documentary contains facts about history. No need to apologize for that. Another comment, I disagree with the Nets and I stand by Kyrie. We are at the point where a simple social media post can ruin you. Celebrities and common people alike. Note to Kyrie, stay off the open social media or change your settings to private. I'm telling you, that's what I was saying on something else. It was like, I was like, the moral of the story is set your shit to private. Like, my shit's not private because I freaking like do this show. But yeah, like, I don't know. That's probably the best answer. I mean, even though that's not right, it shouldn't be this way. You know, they're freaking jumping on him about some shit. Oh, it's a power trip, like that dude said. That's what it is. It's total power trip. I want to reboot so I can get my green screen back. African nations reliant on grain imports seek Ukraine diplomacy. Senate polls all trend down towards GOP in final days. Oh yeah, this one. Can I play this with Jon Stewart? Freaking, I got to play some of this. I wasn't planning on playing this, but I watched this, I think, today. And what's her name? Katie Porter. They were making stupid jokes at the beginning, but hold on. When she put that sign up talking about, I think they're going to play that clip. That's the clip I want, where they put the sign up when she was explaining inflation, because it's really just corporate profits. And the dude was like, are you going to, so since the supply chain issues are down or whatever, are you going to give us back the old price? He was like, well, if you don't like the price, then don't place any new orders. It's like they are suckling on the teat. They're all on the teat right now, and they're not trying to get off of it. Like, it's too good. Give me 1 second. I'm going to reboot. Okay, I'm here. Let me get my screen because I want. Let's do America. Oh, that doesn't look good. Go back to the doggy. Oh, cute doggy. Oh, chiku. Freaking. All right. Hopefully it'll let me do this. Nothing crazy happened. We're okay. They said, I would love to have equipment that works all the time.
District, how are things out there for you? What's the situation?
This race is a dead heat. It's going to be a toss-up, and I think that people are sometimes surprised to hear that. But I am surprised to hear. But we have seen this happening around the country. Some of these suburban districts in bluer states, so places in Washington, in Oregon, in New Jersey, in California. These are really going to be battlegrounds. So my race was just moved to a toss-up, which is not the news you want to wake up to 1 week before Election Day. But I was also out this morning, putting up flyers and getting ready to canvass and knock doors. So I am going to work my butt off to make sure that we win in a week from now.
Here's why I find that incredibly surprising. you are and have been one of the most effective communicators and legislators for economic issues that I have seen in the last 20 years in Congress. The clarity in which you are able to illustrate the different points of our economy and how it's skewed and corrupt, I'm always really impressed by. So let me ask you a question. Do your voters have C-SPAN?
So
Do they get that?
actually, this is a great point. There's 2 points I want to make here. One is at the sort of a simple point. $9 million in Republican super PAC ads that have been answered by $300,000 of Democratic mailers. That's a big gulf. That's $8.7 million in negative messaging.
So this is the National Committee and Republicans and other SPACs and PACs.
Right. So the National Republican committees have spent $9 million, and the Democrats have answered that with $300,000. So that's going to have an effect any which way you cut it, straight up. The second point I want to make
Could the Democratic committee get you that money?
Sure they could.
Can they start spending?
Sure they could. But they're making decisions all over the map. They're prioritizing different people in different races, and there's a complex map to do that. So look, I always want to make sure that I can do my part to help elect Democrats everywhere, that there are good Democrats on the ballot. And so I'm working to stand on my own 2 feet here and deliver this race myself with the help, by the way, of all of my grassroots supporters and people who knock doors for me and chip in. But the second point I want to make, which I think is a really interesting one, is you said, do your viewers have C-SPAN? And the answer, of course, is sure, but they're not sitting at home all day watching it because they have jobs and kids and parents and commutes.
Right.
So one of the things that I think people don't know about politics that I really struggle with is we are not allowed ethically under the House ethics rules to use footage of us doing our jobs in our campaigns. So I can't show viewers.
Wait, what?
Yes. So if I question a witness about inflation, if I push the CDC director and get us free testing, if I hold Jamie Dimon's feet to the fire about employee pay, just to name a few, I can't use those clips, that footage of me actually doing my job well to get elected. And of course, the only reason people should vote for anyone, Democrat, Republican, or otherwise, is if they think they're going to do a good job. But I'm not allowed to show people me actually doing a good job. Instead, the commercials have to be filled with, We're
going to be talking to right now, if I could bring it. It's Congresswoman Katie Porter, who I don't know if you saw the other day, she did a presentation on inflation that finally broke down some of the information about what's behind some of this. And I think, do we have that?
According to this chart, what is the biggest driver of inflation during the pandemic? The blue is the dark blue is the recent period.
It would be corporate profits.
And what is that percentage?
It is 54%, and that number does stay that level of high if you update that number to more recent numbers as well.
So over half of the increased prices people are paying are coming from increases in corporate profits.
Yes.
Let's play that again.
What's behind some of this? And I think, do we have that?
According to this chart, what is the biggest driver of inflation during the pandemic? The blue is the dark blue is the recent period.
It would be corporate profits.
And what is that percentage?
It is 54%, and that number does stay that level of high if you update that number to more recent numbers as well.
So over half of the increased prices people are paying are coming from increases in corporate profits.
So over half of the increased prices people are paying are coming from increases in corporate prices. Okay, and you guys are out here arguing about this, that, and the other. Somebody's, I don't know, gender or whatever. I don't know, whatever. This cultural stuff. Meanwhile, we all have to go to the grocery store. Okay, we all have to pay for whatever the hell. And look at this. Everyone should be mad. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right, if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. It don't even matter what country you're in. Okay, this should make you very, very, very angry. Okay, 54% of their profit, their growth in profit, what it says, normal and recent contributions to growth in unit prices in the non-financial corporate sector. Corporate profits, 52%. Freaking, at first they were saying, okay, we have to pass on the cost to the consumer because we having issues with supply chains and distribution, whatever, trucking, logistics. So and getting it from far away or whatever. So it costs us more. So then we got to raise the price so that we won't be losing money. Okay, well that's fair. Okay, whatever, we understand. So, but then hold on. So then y'all still having these same supply issues and stuff? It's been 2 years now. Can we get the other price back? No, we still having those supply chain issues. We're gonna get back with you, and then they leave out and go buy another yacht. Let me read some comments. It says, we need more representatives like Katie Porter, an expert, no BS, straight facts, great communicator, and doesn't take the crap the GOP and some of the Dems put out there. More non-corporately owned Congress people, please. Great comment. Another comment, it says, I have worked in politics as an advisor and chief of staff. She would be a demanding boss for good. She is brilliant. Her team must launch out of bed every day. They would be proud of their boss and the work they do fighting for American families. If I wasn't an Australian, I would fly to Cali and work my ass off for this brilliant human. Another comment. Katie Porter is a treasure trove of lucidity and smarts and guts. If she loses re-election because the DNC did not pay for a single ad, I may never get over it. Another comment, it says, as a single mom with 2 kids near homelessness, no health insurance, can't afford it, etc., all I can do is fully appreciate someone like Representative Porter. She's certainly one of a kind. Another comment, everybody loves Katie Porter. Oh, we love her. Let me see. What is this one? An old Irish woman living in Australia. I have been watching you work from down here, and you are brilliant. I wish I had all your clips to flood Facebook to support you. You must win. It may be a whole year in heaven before the devil knows you're there. Oh, she's really got fans in Australia. What's up with that? Random. Anyways, freaking that's what's going on. It says over half of the increased prices people are paying are coming from increases in corporate profits. Everyone should be mad instead of talking about this other really dumb stuff that y'all arguing about. We all gotta pay that stuff. After y'all get through arguing, then y'all finna come out of the pocket. I don't care how much money you have. I know you don't want to pay more for your stuff. Way more than it's supposed to be. Like, you're getting price gouged. You're getting robbed. You're getting diddled. Anyways, I don't know. More politics. Because the Republicans may take over Congress. That's kind of what it's looking like. And Herschel Walker may freaking win. It's going to be crazy. I'm going to cover all of that shit for sure. I want to know what happens. Oh, wait. I think I have something on Twitter that I wanted to share. Let's see. I don't know how much longer I'm going to stay on. We get some people up in here. My voice is getting tired.
Now national security expert and former president of Plowshares Fund, Joe Cirincione, about his critique of the now infamous Congressional Progressive Caucus letter. In my eyes, the letter offered a mere glimmer of hope that the left wasn't going to completely concede its anti-war bona fides to the right, but Joe saw it differently, tweeting, "This isn't about the left or rejection of diplomacy. It is about a very small group with a very specific idea of how to force Ukraine to end the war. This is not diplomacy. It is great power politics." What Representative Raskin today called a, quote, colonial reflex. Now, of course, nothing in the CPC letter articulated a specific idea of how to end the war, and it certainly didn't force Ukraine to end it on any timeline or under any specific conditions. In fact, the letter lauded Joe Biden's approach to the war and the billions in appropriations Biden has sent via the Ukraine relief packages. But that didn't stop liberals from completely melting down. As a Vox writer explained, even as many journalists and experts pointed out that much of the letter's contents echoed parts of President Joe Biden's own rhetoric or were otherwise anodyne, international affairs professor and Vox contributor Daniel Drinzer called it a giant nothing burger. Critics piled on the members of Congress on social media and picked apart every word of it. And so the courageous progressive lions at the CPC stuck to their guns and LOL, just kidding. Caucus leader Pramila Jayapal offered a correction before ultimately retracting the letter the next day. It was a pathetic move that led Tulsi Gabbard to say this completely unimpeachably true statement on Tucker Carlson last week.
These so-called progressives did a very simple thing that apparently can appear to be brave in Washington these days. In that letter to President Biden, they just told the truth about how this ongoing proxy war with Russia is increasing in cost and consequences, both on the Ukrainian people, but also the American people here at home, and how it's negatively impacting gas prices, increasing inflation, and so on. These progressives in the letter, they didn't say stop sending aid to Ukraine now. All they said was, hey, President Biden, engage in diplomacy. And the response they got, of course, from the warmongers who control the Democrat Party in Washington was to immediately be smashed to pieces, so much so that these Democrat members of Congress cowered in the corner with fear and now have gone so far out of their way, apologizing profusely for having the audacity to call for diplomacy in this war that's putting us all at risk. And now they've actually gone 180 degrees in the opposite direction. They're now trying to prove how much of a warmongers they too are by saying, no, don't engage in diplomacy. We don't want you to do that. This is exactly, Tucker, one of the main reasons I left the Democrat Party. They are completely controlled by these warmongers in Washington. They don't really care about the Ukrainian people. Otherwise, they would have engaged in diplomacy many, many months ago.
Now, I certainly disagree with Tulsi on plenty of things, but in that clip, I saw no lie. And because I respect Joe Cirincione and am confident enough in my views and my intellect to engage with people who disagree with me, I invited him onto my podcast to discuss it with me. Here's how he responded to the Tulsi clip when I played it for him.
If you really believed, like I do and have been arguing for weeks, that Democrats are setting Tulsi up to make that exact argument, I can't be mad at Tulsi. Tulsi didn't say a single untrue thing there.
Are you kidding me? It's one lie after the other. What are you talking
about? Name a lie.
Warmongers. Warmongers. The Democratic Party is controlled by warmongers?
We're leftists. We obviously know and believe that the Democratic Party is controlled by warmongers. The deep state knows no D or our party affiliation. Wait, this is like not even a controversial statement.
She even lies about the name of the party.
Bernie Sanders.
She calls it the Democrat.
He had an issue with her calling it the Democrat Party, like that was the real central concern here on the hearts and minds of Americans. Now, look, the interview was tough but cordial. We ended very warmly and on good terms. However, the next day on Twitter, Joe decided that he wasn't a fan of how people responded to his own words. And he accused me of, quote, weaponizing clips of him talking in our interview to, quote, attack him. He even threatened to abandon Twitter, opining that, quote, Musk's control will make it even worse. Moreover, he said that I, quote, encourage supporters to post hundreds of insults and smears without correction. Now, I sincerely regret that he feels that way. I really did enjoy talking to Joe both times he came on my podcast. But here's the hard truth. Those insults and smears weren't encouraged by me. They were totally organic. People just hated his take. And here's why. Joe engaged in uncritical support for Pramila Jayapal, whom he described as a, quote, great progressive leader, even though she bungled the $15 minimum wage, the Nina Turner endorsement, and the Build Back Better bifurcation. He described Zelensky as, quote, one of the greatest leaders we've seen in a long time, and many of his comments came off as canned and almost jingoistic. He accepted the CPC's narrative that the letter was a staff mistake, and even though Representative Ro Khanna has publicly rejected that claim and stood by the letter, and even though blaming subordinates reflects incredibly poorly on leadership, he kept doing so. But most importantly, Joe struggled to answer one fundamental question. What assurances are there that U.S. aid is motivated by a humanitarian drive toward peace rather than military adventurism, especially after it was reported back in May that then Prime Minister Boris Johnson undermined peace talks? Given the United States' actions in Libya, where thanks to NATO intervention, there are now slave markets, Afghanistan, which we occupied for 20 years, and Iraq, which we invaded on false pretenses and killed 1 million people, I think it's a reasonable question. Russia has violated international law by invading Ukraine. But given America's past behavior, what assurances can experts like Joe give us that the U.S.'s role here isn't pretextual? That was my only question. And I think it's a particularly necessary question, given that America regularly ignores humanitarian causes like the genocide in Rwanda or Bosnia. And since our own president and State Department officials keep saying that their goal is to weaken Russia, a goal that is not quite the same as protecting Ukrainian people or its borders. Here's how I put it to Joe.
They're stealing Ukrainian children. 500 just yesterday were shipped to Russia. And this is why we should be supporting them. We cannot allow this kind of evil to go unchecked, just on a basic moral reason. I mean, don't you agree with that?
I'm sorry, I don't. And here's why.
Why?
There are gangs that have overtaken Haiti. There is a cholera pandemic that was started by the UN. UN members raped Haitians. A third of Pakistan was underwater. Should we go, due to the climate crisis, should we go and invade China because Uyghurs are in concentration camps? Tell me, articulate. And this is the question that I asked Matt Duss when this war first started. Until you can articulate to me what the rationale is behind where America intervenes and where it doesn't, and give me some kind of moral accounting that makes me believe that it's actually about moral commitments and realizing how much of our money and our resources in the richest country in the world can go to saving lives and increasing the quality of life for the most people, as opposed to a strategic military intervention for territory, resources, and political control. If you can articulate to me why this is truly the most deserving humanitarian case on the planet, as opposed to a continuation of these Cold War policies, we want our economic system, our oppressive, by the way, economic system to maintain global dominance, then I can start to entertain a conversation about what our intervention should be, how long, and how much.
Now, you can watch a free 30-minute clip of that interview over at the Bad Faith YouTube channel or subscribe on Patreon to watch the whole thing. But for now, you'll have to trust me when I say he never offered a satisfactory explanation, at least not in my view. As you heard, he attempted to use abuses against children and emotional ploys so common and trite that it's literally a meme to shame me into dropping my concerns. And although many blue checks are at this very moment accusing me of rolling my eyes at genocide, I was in fact rolling my eyes at Joe using such a cliched argument to avoid the fundamental question. Why save these women, these children, but not these ones? Now, it's worth noting that some fact checkers have disputed Joe's account of kidnapped Ukrainian children, but even if we accept it on its face, as I did in the interview, and as much as my heart aches for human suffering everywhere, a humanitarian crisis in Ukraine does not get to the question of why and to what extent America should play the world's policeman. And if it does adopt the role as global cop, why are we only choosing to police certain neighborhoods? 2.2.
Oh my gosh. She blew that out of the park. Talk about very well articulated. OMG. Like, Who could have said it better? I haven't heard that articulated that well ever before. So this has kind of got the tweet on fire a bit because that guy that she interviewed, he's pissed, and he was tweeting, and it was a lot of tweeting about that. Let me read a couple of this guy tweet. He says, "Wow, the NAFO folks sure came out in droves over this. I can't imagine how much of this Briahna Joy Gray must be dealing with. What an incredible, sad indictment on our discourse that these straw man attacks are all people have." It says, gonna mute this for my own sanity. I don't have time to reply to all of you. I encourage everybody to watch the segment before making your snap judgments. This thing was kind of going off. Let me see. Someone says, who cares? They had blonde hair and white privilege. What about my struggles as a black woman? Another comment says, wow, that's a pretty racist take. Another one, it says, if someone eye rolled at the police violence statistics on African Americans, it would be seen as distasteful though, LOL. Another comment, it says, this fixation on the eye roll is very weird to me. She wasn't eye rolling what was being said. She was eye rolling a deflection away from the actual question. Another comment, it says, do you think the U.S. hasn't been involved in supporting the Saudis in Yemen? This is an important issue, if not fodder for domestic politics. Am I boring y'all with this? I'll read another one. The timing of the letter was horrible in the eyes of anyone Ukrainian. It came less than a week after various dubious sources were attempting to get the Ukrainians to come to the table on Putin's terms. Elon Musk and David Sachs. That's why I received such backlash. Another comment. Well, we were not Ukrainians. We expect an accurate account of where our government support is going, why, and what the end game is. And as long as Ukraine depends on the assistance, they are not entitled to it without limits. Man, her post was brilliant. I just have to say, it was brilliant. That was awesome.
But the U.S. is in a different game right now. The U.S. government, I should say. The American people, not so much, but the U.S. government thinks that we are in a grand competition with China, that it's a devastating competition. We need to contain China. Many very harsh, absolutely anachronistic, dangerous ideas. By the way, at the same time as we have a proxy war between the United States and Russia, because that war in Ukraine has a great deal to do with the American intention to push NATO into Ukraine and across the Black Sea into Georgia. And this is another narrative that the United States doesn't want the people to know or understand, but it's a reality. Yeah. So these tensions need to be reduced because the world is at an extremely dangerous crossroads right now.
So where do you see the world going in the next 5 years with China trying to exercise maximum restraint when it comes to international geopolitics because it wants a peaceful environment for development?
Of course it wants a peaceful environment. The peaceful environment has been wonderful for China's end of poverty and its economic development and its developing relations with other parts of the world. And we should absolutely celebrate those accomplishments, not view them as threats, but celebrate them. So what we need is dialogue. We need better understanding. We need we need the leaders of China and the United States to meet routinely. We need governments to meet routinely so that this is a normal relationship. And we're not hearing that from the US government. We're not hearing it from our media. But I think the intention stated very clearly from the 20th Party Congress is that's what China wants. And if China can explain that clearly to the world, that will be good, because I hope other countries in the world will also say to the U.S. leaders, tone it down. Words that one finds if
Tone it down. Tone it down. Want to pick a fight with Russia? Want to pick a fight with China? Big bad USA. Hold on. I'm over here pressing too many buttons.
Who's India's Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas. India has certainly, sir, and welcome to the show, been benefiting from discounted rates of Russian oil. Does the country have any qualms about continuing to buy so much, given that Narendra Modi has certainly expressed concerns over the invasion, saying now is not the time for war, now is the time to move into a path of peace?
Let me first try and correct your perspective. We ended the financial year 2022, that is 31st March 22. The purchases of Russian oil was not 2%, 0.2%, number one. Number two, we still buy only in a quarter what Europe buys in one afternoon. So let's be very clear about what the perspective is. Where will we buy from? Russia is not the largest supplier of oil to India. Russia supplied only 0.2%. Now it's one of the top 4 or 5 suppliers. And in fact, the largest supplier last month was Iraq. So that there is no misunderstanding anywhere, we owe a moral duty to our consumers. We have 1.34 billion population, and we have to ensure that they are supplied with energy, whether it's petrol, diesel. We were the only country in the world which, at the time when we were feeding 800 million people 3 meals a day, which we are still doing, the government reduced its revenue in order to make sure that prices at the petrol bunk didn't go up.
So
we have 60 million people going to the petrol bunk.
There is no moral conflict with buying Russian oil?
Oh, absolutely none. Absolutely none. There is no moral conflict. I mean, somebody wants to take an ideological position. Well, but we don't buy from X or Y. We buy whatever is available, and I don't do the buying. It's the oil companies who do the buying.
Let's be quite clear about this. India is a backdoor into Europe for Russian oil at the moment. You're talking about the hang on, let me just finish. You're talking about the oil that comes in and is used for, and you said there's no moral issue with this in providing.
Wait. The way she was talking to him, and it's like India. So that's the idea, right? It's like India is still like a colony as far as their attitude, right? It's like, y'all see what we're doing over here, y'all undermining what we're doing. I mean, it's like, bro, we got like billions of people in this country. We got a lot of people here, and yeah, they need food and fuel and shit. We're just gonna buy the fuel from wherever the hell we can get it from. You know what I'm saying? Right now, Russia is where we gonna get a lot of our shit. We don't get all of our shit from Russia, but hey, if Russia gonna sell gas, we need it. Shade. Then how y'all gonna come over here and tell us who we can buy our freaking gas from? And then it's the attitude, it's the arrogance, it's the freaking, she's down talking him like, this is America. That's a backdoor into Russia. You don't feel bad for you're supporting Russia. What are you doing?
Energy for 1.4 billion people. But let's be quite clear. Russian oil is imported, it is refined, and then it is exported to Europe, sir.
That was done by some private sector companies, not by the OMCs. Who buys Russian oil, where it is refined?
You're not denying that's happening.
No, there's no question. We have nothing to do with that. First of all, the government doesn't do the buying. Let me be very clear. Oil trade is conducted by economic entities. All right. Today I met the minister from Guyana. They've got production. Come, we'll buy from there. We're buying from Canada. You know something? I bought last year from the United States $20 billion worth, which is almost half of what I buy from OPEC. No, we will buy oil, gas from wherever we can get it.
What if the EU or the US were to ask India specifically to halt Russian oil purchases?
I'll tell you something.
Why? So the US, hey, y'all know we came over here and built y'all country up. Y'all know we gave y'all language, made y'all civilized and all that, and this is how you're gonna repay us. You know, look, we just gonna ask you to not buy gas from Russia. You could buy gas from wherever else you want to buy gas from. We understand you need it, but just don't buy none from Russia. Like,
first you should address that question to the EU or to the United States.
Addressing it to
I
you,
know,
sir,
but
with
I'm
respect.
telling you, because if India did not buy or someone else didn't buy Russian oil, and the Russian oil were to go off the market, what would happen to international prices? These people would turn around, then the same, somebody's cutting supply, we have more people buying it, the price will go up to $200.
Minister, with respect, I'm asking you a simple question. If the EU or the US were to ask India to halt
I don't
Russian
address
oil
hypothetical.
purchases-
I don't address hypothetical questions. If the EU wants to come up with something, they will talk to us. We will examine what's in it. So what is on offer now? We have a situation where Hungarian oil can come in through a pipeline, and it's exempt from the so-called price cap. Chinese oil goes through, Russian oil goes to China through the pipeline. It is exempt. Japan can buy it. So I'd like to find out whom the price cap is aimed at.
Okay,
And we'll have a good,
let's talk about
robust discussion on that.
Because does India have a backup plan should the West tighten sanctions on Russia?
First of all, we have many backup plans.
So are you threatening them? So hey, we can ask you to not buy Russian oil, or we can make it just not available to you. How about that?
First of all, and I don't look at the way you are looking at it. We have had healthy discussions going on with the West, the United States, and the Europeans. I think this is something you're creating in a TV studio.
No, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Well,
the narrative is out there. I'm just crossing.
I have just come back from the United States. Do you know what happened in my bilateral discussions with me? No, I don't have to. It's privileged conversation. But I don't feel, and I've said on record, not only now to you, Andy, but to you earlier and to we don't feel any pressure. Modi's government doesn't feel the pressure. We are the 5th largest economy in the world. We are the one country where we are making the transition. When you have increases in oil prices, they have consequences. One of the consequences is there'll be inflation and recession. But one of the consequences is we'll make the transition to green energy just that much faster.
And I want to talk about that. But before I do, let me just press you a little further. Will India cooperate with G7 attempts to cap the price of Russian seaborne oil?
I'm surprised that you're fixated on a proposal who's...
Yeah, she keeps hammering that. She's fixated on that. She keeps hammering it in. Hey.
Which has not been fully spelled out, number one. Number two, India will examine it. India will respond according to its supreme national interest. And I'm telling you, we will take a view and we will discuss it with everyone. So, and I'd be happy to come back to you and tell you what our response is.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll hold you to that if I can, sir, with the greatest of respect. Let's get back to Dr. Sultan's comments earlier on today, who is the head of the National Oil Company here. He's also the special envoy on climate. And I started this part of the show by discussing the fact that this is a country that has embedded energy diversification in its economic growth story, originally reliant on.
She probably felt that it was getting hot too. She like, let's move on. Maybe I'm hammering him too hard. Oh, this is the guy retweet. The guy that was in the Brianna Joy Gray interview. He says, I've done lots of interviews on the right and left. Never has the host weaponized the interview to attack me and encourage their supporters to post hundreds of insults and smears without correction. Don't make my mistake. Never go on bad faith with Brianna Joy Gray. Aww. Oh, booty, butt hurt. This one says, why do some Americans think they are so special and unique that we have an obligation to prove anything to them, convince them? Self-obsessed and selfish much? I'm sorry, but the world doesn't revolve around you. That's the same clip. Yeah. Because that shit was getting threaded. Anyways, did I cover all of the stuff out of Instagram? I had some more videos I'm off work tomorrow. I might go fishing, so I don't know if I'm gonna do a show tomorrow. Not gonna lie to y'all. Did I cover all of these that I wanted to cover? Oh, there's this one. China promises to help Pakistan protect its territorial integrity days after India vows to reclaim POK. Beijing once again reiterated to invasive stance over the Kashmir issue. China promised to support Pakistan in protecting its territorial integrity right after Indian vowed to take back POK. Notably, during his bilateral visit to China, Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif raked up the Kashmir issue again and briefed Beijing on the current situation in the valley. China will continue to firmly support Pakistan in safeguarding its sovereignty, territorial integrity, development interests, and dignity, and in achieving unity, stability, development, and prosperity, Xi told Sharif, as per the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Chinese government. So, like, basically, don't nobody go over there, fuck with y'all. If they do, China, we gonna handle them. We got you. It says, notably last week, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh stressed that India's journey of development would not be complete without reclaiming its illegally occupied territories by Pakistan, including Gilgit and Baltistan. On the other hand, China and Pakistan in a joint statement said that the Kashmir issue should be resolved as per the UN Charter and bilateral agreement. The two sides reiterated that a peaceful, prosperous South Asia is in the common interest of all parties. They emphasized the importance of resolving all outstanding disputes through sincere dialogue. Read the joint statement. The Pakistani side briefed the Chinese side on the situation in Jammu and Kashmir. The Chinese side reiterated that the Kashmir issue was a dispute left from history that should be properly and peacefully resolved based on the UN Charter, relevant UN Security Council resolutions, and bilateral agreements, the statement further added. Promise 2 made to China, says Defense Minister. He said, we should have just claimed our land rather than making these statements. One of the biggest blunders of the government was to lose Poke to an inferior country. To reclaim Poke, first Pakistan should attack India, otherwise other countries term as aggressors. This is like, anyways, let me read more. It says, may I have your office email? I have complete information of corruption. Whatever. This is kind of scary stuff, though, because this is how things happen. So you have tensions when you had World War II, World War I. You had multiple tensions around the world, kind of multiple groups that had like little tensions with each other, and a lot of it had to do with like territory disputes and shit like that, and people encroaching on other people's freaking land and territories and shit, and then you had multiple polarities that kind of aligned and said, okay, if anybody come mess with y'all, we got y'all. And this other country was like, yeah, if anybody come mess with y'all, we got y'all. If anybody come mess with y'all, we got y'all. So that's how it happened. So somebody came and messed with one of them, and they was like, okay, we got y'all. And then boom, it was a, multiple. All of a sudden now you're in World War. Because you got multiple countries involved. And then you got one side against the other, like they align with each other. Anyways.
With my son inside. And my baby mama tell me after fucking dude came and shot my motherfucking house up with my son inside. And my baby mama tell me after fucking press charges? Don't listen to his voicemail. She just fucking left me, y'all.
Why the fuck would you fucking call the police on my boyfriend? You know he fucking shot your house up because you took my damn son without my permission. That's why he did that. say you and just hope you don't press charges because I don't want him to be in jail because of my bullshit with you. They just arrested him this damn morning. Like, I don't have time for this shit. Like, you can get your son. You can have full custody of your son. Just don't press charges on my dude because I want him out. I don't want to deal.
Anyways, I don't think it's real, but that was floating around. I was gonna comment on it, but it's really kind of just debauchery. Freaking
I am an economist. I can tell you categorically that this policy by the federal government, by the Central Bank of Nigeria, has no basis in economics. There is no reason to. This is purely political. When you decide to change your currency in such a roughshod manner, there's no urgency. The urgency for us is how to get food for our citizens so that we can remove the starvation in the land. I am an economist. I can tell you
Governor Godwin Obaseki has faulted the move by the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign some Naira notes in the country. The governor of Edo State, who was speaking at the inauguration of the People's Democratic Party Women's Campaign Council in the state, said the plan is not a good decision, and at this time claiming it can further cripple the nation's economy. It's been some stuff going on in Nigeria too. Let me read a comment. It says, "You better bring out all your hidden Naira notes and change fast." Another comment, it says, "This man sabi sweet talk oo. Make una nor mine ooh." Oh shoot. Is that another language? Another comment, it says, "The man they cry say all the monies he hide, he won't be able to spend them before the deadline." This is not the comment most people will like. Obaseki is right. Printing and changing currency notes will further cripple our economy. It takes money to print money, and that money we don't have. Another comment, "Talking like you say you better be better person. According to English, birds of the same feather flock together." You can imagine former APC member now in PDP. It says, "Oga, go to your hidden vault and bring out all the looted Naira notes." Oh, man. I think I'm not rapping. I'm getting tired. My voice is losing it. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap it. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for listening. Peace and love.